This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A central Indiana school district is the first in the country to use a new technology. Now at 5 o'clock, how it could help stop an active shooter more quickly.
A Johnson County woman sharing a lesson that she learned the hard way. This morning, the warning for you as you use Facebook Marketplace.
But first, Storm Team 6 is in alert mode. As you head out the door, you'll notice a thick layer of fog. You can see it there. But other weather concerns will come into play later today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey, and we are joined this Halloween by Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen, and it is spooky out there this morning,
right.
Todd.
And with that fog, it looks like it.
Yeah.
We're in alert mode for a multitude of things here today, unfortunately. And the timing's not good with it being Halloween, obviously, and all the kids want to get out. We'll touch on the fog first. There's a dense fog advisory for the eastern portion of the state. You notice visibilities here are decreased. They're not terrible as of right now, but they could diminish just a little bit further here this morning, something to keep an eye on. It's also turning into a very wet morning for us here across the area. Kokomo to Peru to Frankfort, Lafayette, Lebanon, Noblesville. Pretty steady rain is falling through the metro area as well. Some heavier downpours here near Sullivan over towards the Bloomington area as well. The wettest part of the day is right now and for the next few hours as this band of rain makes its way through the area. And then you notice the snow on the backside of it. I do think we will see our first flakes of the season later on this afternoon, except we are not expecting any accumulation. That is the good news, but that does signify much colder air making its way here into central Indiana. So right now is the warmest part of the day. Temperatures just decrease from this moment onward down to 40 degrees by the noon hour. The wind picks up as the rain comes to an end. By 4 p.m. we are down to 35 degrees with some of those snow showers mixed in. Wind chill values for the kids tonight in the 20s. Grab the heavier coat as you walk out the door here this morning.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door to kick off your Thursday. And here is a live look at I-465, a little south of 82nd Street. We do have some construction in that area from the overnight hours. If you look off in a distance, you see the flashing lights, and in that area, you also see that arrow board. So just use caution as you're heading out the door there on the northeast side. But overall, I would say everything is traveling up to speed around the metro area. Great news considering the rain and the fog we have out there this morning. We do want to change gears now, get to some breaking news we've been following from overnight. One person is recovering from a shooting. This took place on the city's northeast side. That shooting happened around midnight near 32nd Street and Emerson Avenue. Police on the scene tell us that a woman found the 21-year-old man shot outside of her apartment door. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Police say that victim is not being cooperative.
We are also following breaking news from the city's east side. Fire investigators are trying to figure out what started this fire near Washington and Sherman. The fire started around 11:30 last night in a vacant home. Officials on the scene tell us the building had been vacant since 2003. Authorities say when they arrived on scene, they found smoke and flames coming from the house. Firefighters say no one was injured in the fire.
And new this morning, 2 people are recovering following a serious crash. This one's out in Speedway. The crash happened just before 11 o'clock last night near West 25th Street and Georgetown Road. We're told it took about 25 minutes to get both drivers out of their cars. Both of the people injured were taken to the hospital, and the cause of that crash remains under investigation.
A Burgersville woman has a warning this morning about Facebook Marketplace and a scam leaving her out nearly $700 and now stuck with a broken refrigerator. Mandy Hollingsworth says she wanted to get a working fridge without breaking the bank. So she saw this one advertised on Facebook Marketplace. After going back and forth with the seller, a price and delivery was agreed upon. She says the guy who delivered it told her to wait about an hour before turning it on to let the Freon settle. After she plugged it in, nothing happened. That's when she realized she'd been ripped off.
I looked on my receipt. There was a number provided and called the number, and the lady was like, no. She goes, I'm sorry. She goes, I've never ever delivered appliances, or I've never sold appliances on the marketplace.
After looking online, Mandy saw this had happened to at least one other person where she lives. Someone using a bogus business name, Shadeland Appliances, and is selling a broken refrigerator. She knows she probably won't get her money back, but she hopes to prevent the same thing from happening to other people.
It is 5:05. Attorneys for a Southern Indiana man accused in a gruesome murder trial are now seeking mental evaluations. Joseph Oberhansley is charged with the 2014 rape and murder of 46-year-old Tammy Jo Blanton. Oberhansley's lawyers filed the motion back on October 22nd, saying he isn't competent to stand trial. A mistrial was declared in August in the first day of testimony when a witness defied court orders and discussed Oberhansley's past drug use and prison time. Oberhansley's next trial is scheduled to start in February unless a Clark County judge agrees that he is not competent.
Lawrence Township schools are the first country in the nation to use, first school district in the nation to use new technology that could cut down the time an active shooter is on the loose and save more lives. The district is installing active shooter response technology. It provides real-time detection and location reporting of gunshots to reduce response time to active shooter events. Once the call goes out, response teams can instantly track the shooter's movements as well as identify the type of weapon being used. Officials say they're happy to have the technology, but they hope they never have to use it.
They will know the exact location of shots being fired in a school long before the school teacher can scramble for his or her phone to call 911 in a panicked, chaotic situation when really they should be looking after their kids and making decisions about evacuation, sheltering in place, all those things that we're now preparing to do in our schools.
The technology is a partnership between the school district, Lawrence Police, and a company called Body Worn by Utility. They hope to expand the systems nationwide over the next several years.
At 5:07, a Hendricks County school board is admitting it allowed a teacher's relative to vote on issues impacting that teacher. Call 6 Investigates has learned Northwest Hendricks County board member Brad Williams is the uncle of Tyler Bruce. Now, Bruce is under investigation over allegations of sexual misconduct with a student. On July 9th, the board voted unanimously to put him on paid administrative leave. Williams did not recuse himself from that vote. Call 6 has been asking questions about this for weeks now. The board finally responded in writing this week, calling the vote an oversight. You can read the full statement and more details about this case right now in the RTV6 app.
This morning, an Indiana school district says they're seeing an uptick in pneumonia cases. Clay Community Schools in Brazil posted the news on Facebook. Officials say parents of preschoolers through high school seniors have reported having children with pneumonia. The school reports adult cases have also been reported. School officials say extra cleaning precautions are underway to prevent the spread of the disease. Parents with children feeling sick are asked to keep their kids at home. Health officials say a number of germs can cause pneumonia. The most common type of pneumonia being spread in Clay County is community-acquired pneumonia. It's caused by bacteria, fungi, and viruses caught outside of hospitals. School officials say it's important to urge students to wash their hands frequently and practice good coughing and sneezing hygiene. It's also important to dispose of any used tissues. Here at 508, an Indianapolis school specializes in teaching children who are visually impaired how to do everyday tasks on their own.
And our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning. And that superintendent of the school has a pretty important message for all of us this morning, Kelsey.
Yeah, that's right. His message is a visually impaired child or a blind child can do anything that a sighted child can do, That's including being on a computer or even using or reading a book. At the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, the main focus is teaching the students to be independent. Superintendent Jim Durst tells me the students who go to ISBVI have to learn the same core academics that all other students in Indiana have to learn. But they put an extra emphasis on how to do everyday tasks without help. Things like making your bed, folding laundry, getting on the computer, and other everyday tasks that so many of us may take advantage of. Durst says when they have a first-time parent come to the school, they try to emphasize this.
All too often, individuals who don't work with children who are blind or have low vision tend to focus on the things children can't do because of the blindness or the low vision. We really try to emphasize that your child, your student, can pretty much do anything a sighted child can do if given the right opportunities, if provided with the right accommodations.
The Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired also allows students to play sports like track, swimming, cheerleading, and even skiing. Durst says they also have a lot of support for parents of visually impaired children. Now, coming up in the next half hour, I've got the story of a woman who says she moved back to Indiana so her daughter could get the same education she did. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. The time now is 5:10. It's a Storm Team 6 alert day for a lot of reasons here this morning. First of which is the dense fog advisory that we have here on the eastern side of the state. You can see visibilities everywhere decreased a little bit, so be aware of the fog. So we have a fog advisory to the east in the dark gray here, but it does include Richmond and some other counties. The light blue you see, that is the wind advisory. This is going to kick in at 3 p.m. for wind gusts that are going to pick up and be close to 40 miles per hour later on this afternoon. And then we're also dealing with a lot of rainfall here this morning. It's a solid batch of rain that's moving across the state of Indiana this morning. So the later your commute, the less likely you'll run into this rain. And then you see the snow off to our west. That is going to roll in here later on this evening with little to no accumulation. But the warmest it will be is right now, 46 degrees. By the time we get to the noon hour, look at the 30s overspreading western portions of the state. By 3:30, everybody's in the 30s. These are actual temperatures. Does not include that wind that will start to whip later on this afternoon. And by the time we get to the trick-or-treating hours, we're going to be hovering right around the freezing mark. And then overnight tonight, temperatures will go down into the 20s tomorrow morning. Our first hard freeze of this season. We'll talk about everything in more detail coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. This morning, massive wildfires continue to burn in the Golden State after the break where thousands of people face new evacuation orders. We'll be right back.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
This morning, a former Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School resource officer wants his charges dropped. Scott Peterson is charged with child neglect and negligence. An investigation shows that he refused to investigate where gunshots were coming from during the 2018 massacre at the school. Peterson says he can't be held responsible for failing to stop the shooting. His reasoning is the state already blamed former Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel for his inaction during the massacre.
The battle against massive flames continues in California this morning. This is a look at the so-called easy fire burning right now in Simi Valley. The Ventura County Fire Department says 7,000 homes are in danger. At least one structure has already been destroyed. About 30,000 people are currently being forced out of their homes. At this hour, more than 1,000 firefighters are working to battle those flames.
And back here at home, we do want to talk about your forecast for today. It is a Storm Team 6 alert day. It's Halloween, and Todd, not the best news for folks at home.
No, I mentioned yesterday, you have to think of those indoor plans this evening. Not only are, you can hear 20 degrees, like, I can deal with that, but it's the first time we're dealing with it here this season, so it's going to be kind of a shock to the system. Let's talk about what's happening this morning first, because obviously everybody wants to know the trick-or-treating forecast, but there's a lot happening here this morning you need to know about as you get on the roadways. There's patchy fog out there, and in some areas under a dense fog advisory. You can see those counties scrolling at the top of your screen. It's a very wet commute for everybody as this rain makes its way through the area, and then temperatures are going to fall throughout the entire morning and into the afternoon hours. So here's a wind advisory that goes into effect later on tonight. A freeze warning goes into effect across parts of the area. So we actually have 3 advisories here during the course of the entire day. Wind, fog, and then eventually a freeze warning later on tonight. So here's the rain that's falling across the area down to the south. Some light rain in Bloomington, but more moderate rainfall in Spencer. That'll be pushing off towards the east as we come into the metro area. It's light and steady in most locations. As we slide to the north, you see these yellows. That's some pockets of moderate rainfall. It's just rain now. There's no thunderstorms out there currently across the area. And this solid band of rain should move through pretty quick. So if you can delay your commute, say at about 8, 9 o'clock, you may be in better shape than here early on in the 5 and 6 o'clock hours. So that rain will move through. But then you notice the snow showers off to our west. Some of those will start to roll in here later on this afternoon. So here's how it times out on TrueCast. By 10 a.m., the rain's still lingering to the east, coming to an end, or at least the steady rainfall is coming to an end off towards the west. And then we get a little bit of a break this afternoon for the precipitation, and then we'll replace the steady rain with rain and or snow showers as we work our way into the evening drive. So don't be shocked later on tonight if you see some snow showers. Not expecting much in the way of accumulation, maybe in northern locations. You you could get a little bit of a coating on just grassy areas, but the roadways should be fine, at least here during the snow while it'll be falling from the sky. That could change overnight tonight. So 50s to 40s. The colder air is rushing its way in. The winds will pick up throughout the day today. As we get into the afternoon hours, notice by 1 p.m. they're still not bad. By 9 p.m. gusting to over 40 miles per hour. And so that means that this evening, as the kids go trick-or-treating, 33 degrees at 7 p.m. We're right around the freezing mark by the time we get to 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. as well with those snow showers. So things could get slick. You have the wet leaves that will be on the ground. You'll have temperatures getting close to freezing. And then overnight tonight, your temperatures going down from 22 to 27 degrees. It's the first freeze of the season. It's going to be very, very cold tomorrow morning. And then eventually tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at sunny skies and a high of 45.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye out on this construction on the north side of town. May slow you down just a little bit as you're traveling on I-465 in the westbound lanes here near Allisonville Road and 82nd Street. That is the area we're talking about and showing you here. The good news is traffic is still getting by at this hour, but you can expect the right lanes to be closed. We do want to take a look right now at our map and show you some drive times as you're heading out the door, coming in right now from the south side. Starting here at State Road 144 down in the Bargersville area, also near Mooresville. It's a 15-minute drive northbound up to the I-465 ramps. No delays there to slow you down. And then over here in Whiteland, as you're hopping on I-65 northbound, heading into downtown, I-70 at the north split. It's an 18-minute drive at this hour. Something you will have to watch out for is the rain out there. You can see the wet roads over here at I-465 and West 46th Street on the northwest side of town. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes or delays this morning, and we'll keep you updated.
We're covering education this morning, and a just-released report from the nation's report card shows reading scores are down across the country. The average reading score for 4th and 8th grade students dropped between 2017 and 2019. Changes in math were mixed between those same years, with 4th grade scores increasing and 8th grade scores decreasing. The National Center for Education Statistics says the lowest performing students are doing worse across both subjects. Officials say researchers need to look into why proficiency is declining.
If you need help pushing through your workout, go ahead and swear. Whether it's socially acceptable or not, cursing actually improves your athletic performance and endurance. Researchers at Keele University in England say swearing words to support your stress response. Studies show that people on bikes who swore while pedaling against resistance had more power and strength than people who used neutral words. Experts say the resulting flush of adrenaline triggers your fight or flight response, boosting your heart rate and oxygen intake. Researchers caution curse words seem to lose their power over pain, that is, when they are used too much.
Trick-or-treaters across the country will see some wildly decorated homes. Some will be spooky, but none will compare to this woman's. After the break, we'll introduce you to the Halloween Queen.
For the holidays, come on home to Cracker Barrel.
Some of the country's newest and tiniest babies got dressed up to celebrate Halloween. Patients in the neonatal intensive care unit in Orton's Women's and Children's Hospital in Louisville showed off their first Halloween costumes. It was an opportunity to celebrate the holiday with their families. Little Jacob was born at 26 weeks, weighing just 1.5 pounds. He just hit the 3-pound mark, and now he is wearing his boss baby costume this Halloween because he is showing that hospital who's boss.
Yes.
This is so much fun. This reminds us that even though we're here, we spend so much time here, that life and celebrations and fun things and family things still go on.
The costumes are provided by families or the NICU. Some are even made by hospital employees and volunteers.
So cute.
Darling.
Love that. Well, a woman in Fairmount, New York earned herself the nickname the Queen of Halloween, and this is why. Marcia Bauer goes out of her way to deck out her front yard, putting up dozens of monsters, tombstones, and coffins. She made most of these creatures from scratch using whatever she can find in the house or items that have been donated to her. Bauer says it takes weeks to put it all together.
I start the first week in September, and I'm working on it pretty much 6 hours a day for the entire time, right up until Halloween Day. I mean, I'll still be working on it Halloween Day, and I just enjoy doing it.
Bauer says she's been decorating for more than 20 years. She says the hardest part is putting everything away after Halloween. And Marcia, I feel ya. After Christmas, it's really depressing.
And we were wondering, when people have Halloween decorations like this, where do they keep it all?
Yes.
Where do they keep
Storage
it all?
units.
Yeah.
A room in your house.
Maybe they have a big barn. Maybe they have
I don't know. It's just
space.
It's just incredible.
Garage attic. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Ask Lauren where she keeps all her Christmas stuff.
Taking over the attic.
Yeah.
The whole attic.
All right. Outside right now, we're dealing with a wet drive. Heaviest of the rain that we'll see all day is happening right now across most of the area. So you need the rain gear this morning. And temperatures currently are in the 40s. However, you need to take the heavier coat for the first time, I think, this season, as temperatures will fall throughout the entire day today. So we're in the 40s right now. By the time you're coming home from work, we're getting down into the low to mid 30s, and that's not factoring in the wind that'll pick up. Wind chills by the time we get to about 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon are going to be in the 20s. So bundle up and have that rain gear throughout the day.
Todd, thank you. Trick-or-treaters will take to neighborhood streets this evening. Ahead on Good Morning Indiana, how you can let visiting ghouls and goblins know how you have safe treats for them.
This is a portion of the fence. This is a point of impact. Homeowners are getting really frustrated with all the property damage. So why does this keep on happening? I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story next at 6 a.m. when I join Meredith and Lauren on Good Morning Indiana.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30 on Good Morning Indiana, demolition is underway here at the Oak Tree apartment complex. Hear what the future could hold for this site.
The Teal Pumpkin Project is making sure trick-or-treaters with food allergies can get in on tonight's fun. How you can show visiting ghouls and goblins that you have safe treats for them. But first, here at 5:30, we need to take a look at the weather. No, this is not just a spooky Halloween scene. This is actually what it looks like outside right now.
Yeah, and you'll notice it on your drive into work. I thought, wow, this is Halloween in the weather.
Peak Halloween
peak
weather.
Halloween time right now. Not the best news, though, for people heading out there, Todd.
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of things here throughout the day today. Ladies mentioned the fog. That's an issue. Some counties under a dense fog advisory this morning. And then some of us dealing with precipitation. So I had to change the title of this today from rain chances to precip chances, because as we get into the afternoon and evening, we'll start to mix in some snow showers. You notice the heaviest the rain and the most widespread is early this morning, and then the rain chances and snow chances will diminish as we get into the afternoon hours. But pretty good rain falling from Petersburg to Lafayette, Frankfort, over towards Marion right now. As we come into southern locations, some heavier rain from Terre Haute to Greencastle into Spencer. So this is all going to move through during the course of the morning drive. And then here's the snow showers that are going to start to come in here later on this afternoon. So temperatures, the warmest they'll be all day. Right now, 51 in Connersville, 41 in Lafayette. So the colder air already starting to make its way into the area. The rain moves out, or at least the steady rainfall moves out by about the noon hour. And then look at that. By the time we get to the noon hour and beyond, temperatures already into the 30s. Bundle up. We'll talk about the trick-or-treating forecast for this evening coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door for your Halloween and your Thursday. And we mentioned that you may have some issues in the weather department to deal with. Here's a look in the downtown area. I-70 at the North Split, a stalled vehicle there on your screen, but overall traffic is moving along up to speed despite the wet roads. Let's take a look, though, at some drive times planning your commute heading in from the northwest side of town. If you're starting here at I-865 in the Dog Leg, heading down to I-70 at the North Split, it's a 17-minute drive, so everything there is still moving along up to speed this morning. Let's take one more look right now at those wet roads that you'll see out there, and we do have reduced visibility. This is I-65 in Washington Street between the north and south splits. Everything is moving along up to speed.
We begin with developing news from the city's northeast side this morning. That's where police are investigating a shooting that left one person injured.
Yeah, this all happened around 6 o'clock last night in the 5200 block of East 38th Street. That's near Emerson Avenue. And police tell us that a 21-year-old appeared to have been shot near an apartment in the area. He was taken to the hospital with minor injuries, and right now it's unclear what led up to that shooting, and no suspect information has been released.
In Speedway, 2 people are recovering following a serious crash. Emergency crews were called to the 500 100 block of West 25th Street near Georgetown Road around 10:45 last night. We're told it took about 25 minutes to get both drivers out of their cars. Crews even had to remove the roof from one vehicle. Both of the people injured were taken to the hospital, and right now their conditions are not known. The cause of that crash remains under investigation.
Here at 5:33, we have an update for you on the fate of the Oak Tree apartment property. Demolition to the vacant complex will continue today after getting underway on Wednesday. Leaders say that they plan to hold town hall style meetings in the coming weeks to talk about those next steps. The abandoned apartment is located at 42nd and Post Road, and it's been blamed for attracting crime and putting the safety of innocent neighbors in jeopardy. Local representatives and activists tell us that they are looking forward to the future.
We don't have any like high-rise apartments or flats or anything like that. It would be really nice to have something like that out here. We don't have any sit-down restaurants in this district. So all of those kind of things. I'm excited for the possibilities of it all.
I think when we get to the planning process of redevelopment, it's very important that residents and stakeholders come to the table when we have those town halls, we have those planning redevelopment meetings, to definitely come to the table, let your voice be heard.
The property was declared a public nuisance in 2013. The final residents were evicted in 2014 due to a lack of running water.
An update out of Nashville, Indiana. All 16 properties, or about 25 businesses located downtown, were sold at auction yesterday. They went up for sale after the owner died and his children decided to sell the estate. The properties make up about 1/3 of businesses in downtown Nashville. The auctioneer tells RTV6 most of the buyers are local.
It is 5:35. Jobs of the future are on display at the annual FAA convention. It's happening right now in downtown Indianapolis. Students from all across the country are getting a look at how the fields of agriculture, biology, technology, and engineering are converging, all thanks to the FAA Blue Room. We talked to Beth Beckdahl, the president and CEO of AgriNovus, the group behind this year's Blue Room. She explained how agriculture and the whole industry, it's evolving, along with the skill sets that companies are looking for in their future employees.
Today, these employers are looking for kids who are steeped in data science, who like to code, who are passionate and fired up about robotics, because the jobs are now becoming so tech and data driven. We're going to have to seek out kids who actually aren't just a part of FFA, but are in other groups and other clubs and other organizations to make them aware of these opportunities.
The FFA convention runs through Saturday. At 5:36, the mother so thankful for the education that she got, and she's moving back to Indiana so that her own daughter could go to the same school that she did.
She says the life she has now probably wouldn't have been possible without the skills she learned at the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with her story. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so people who are blind or visually impaired doing everyday tasks like getting on a computer, reading a book, riding the bus, or reading a menu at a restaurant can be very difficult or impossible. But one mother says a local school can make all of that possible for children who are visually impaired.
Well, it definitely got me prepared to go off to college. I went to college. I now work for the IRS.
Joyce Wade is talking about the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
It gave me social skills, and it gave me the academics that I needed to be prepared to go out and be a productive part of society. It gave me the confidence to do things that, like I say, you normally just wouldn't do.
Wade is considered legally blind and is a graduate of ISBVI. She tells me she lived in St. Louis for a while, but when her daughter Michaela, who is also legally blind, was in middle school, she decided to move back to Indiana.
In my opinion, it's one of the best blind schools in the country, so I did want to come back here and let her have the same opportunities that I had.
Wade says it's not just the academic education that brought her back, but also the life skills that the school teaches.
And they get exposed to some of the things that they may not be able to be exposed to at public school, like mobility. The mobility here, what they do is teach the kids to navigate the bus systems and to navigate different, like going into restaurants and being able to navigate the menus.
It's valuable for students to be able to be as independent as they possibly can.
Jim Durst is the superintendent and ISBVI.
And individuals who don't work with children who are blind or have low vision tend to focus on the things children can't do because of the blindness or the low vision. We really try to emphasize that your child, your student, can pretty much do anything a sighted child can do if given the right opportunities, if provided with the right accommodations.
This month is Blindness Awareness Month, and Durst wants to remind you that if you have a child who is visually impaired, remember that they are first a child, then a student, and he says that there are plenty of resources for you and their children at the blind school. I'll send it back to you guys.
Kelsey, thank you. Confusion over parking rules is leading to frustration in a North Side neighborhood. Butler students and faculty who do not live in Butler-Tarkington are prohibited from parking on the residential streets. Now, many people do not know about that restriction and say there's limited parking on campus. Now, some homeowners say that's not their problem.
There's one parking garage, and I know my pass that I had last year, it was the best that you can get as a student, but you can only park on the very top floor. That was uncovered, or you can park on the street in front of the dorms and things, but it was very hard to get a spot there.
I know it's a public street, but we pay taxes, we pay premium to live around here, and we shouldn't have to continue to be bothered with this and called when they know the rules parking over there.
The city asked Butler to create and enforce this policy in 1989 due to homeowner concerns about university traffic taking up all the parking spots.
Well, as many kids are loading up on candy this evening, some actually won't be able to because of food allergies.
But there is a safe way to help kids with food allergies participate in all the fun. The Teal Pumpkin Project was created to raise awareness for children dealing with food allergies. The group Food Allergy Research and Education, or FAIR, encourages homeowners to put a teal pumpkin on their doorstep. This will let family know there are non-food treats like small toys available to kids.
So some of the common allergens that kids may run into this Halloween season include peanuts and tree nuts, but there are many other allergens that can be found in different candies, so we want to make sure all kids are safe this Halloween season.
If you would like to participate, but you don't have time to paint or track down a teal pumpkin, that's okay. You can print out a Teal Pumpkin Project flyer and hang it in your window or on your front door, then add your address to the Teal Pumpkin Project map on their website. And this weather is causing some changes to trick-or-treating times tonight. Some cities have already decided to delay trick-or-treating until Friday or Saturday. For more on those changes, we've got a full list of times from across central India right now on the IndyChannel.com or on the RTV6 app. And I'm going to toss things over to Todd now to get a look at what we are expecting for trick-or-treating tonight.
Yeah, it is not going to be pleasant, and actually it could be dangerous when we have the wind factored in and the falling temperatures and wind chill values, because you're going to have to contend with the cold, you're going to have to contend with the wet ground and slippery leaves, and maybe the winds are strong enough even to cause some branches to come down later on today across central Indiana. So here's the temperature trend: 46 at 8 a.m. By the time we get to 6 p.m., we're down to 34, near freezing by the time we get to 10 p.m. That is just the actual temperature. This line you see here, that is the wind, and you notice the sustained winds up to 25 miles per hour. The gust will be to 40 miles per hour, and that is going to put wind chill values down into the 20s with those really, really gusty winds. So you definitely, if you are going out, need to bundle up and be extremely careful. As far as what's happening right now across the area, quite a bit of rain moving through. It's going to be a wet morning drive. We'll talk more about this rain coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Well, 10 wildfires are now burning all across California. Coming up, the latest fire that threatened the Reagan Library.
And vaping company Juul is now facing another lawsuit. Still ahead, the claims made about the company shipping contaminated cartridges.
And here's a live look right now at traffic at the wet roads we're dealing with for your Thursday morning commute. I-465 and I-74 over on the west side. Traffic still moving along smoothly northbound and southbound. We'll keep an eye out for any crashes or delays, and we'll keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around.
Dangerous winds continue to fuel flames in California. Right now, 10 wildfires are burning across the state. The Easy Fire and the Hill Fire are the latest to start spreading in Ventura and Riverside counties. The Easy Fire just missing the Reagan Library thanks to efforts from firefighters. That's where the president and former first lady are buried. 26,000 people in the area have been evacuated. One woman who was forced from her home decided to start helping firefighters by putting out hotspots with her garden hose. Taboose.
What are you mostly worried about right now?
Right now, safety for everybody. I suppose it's the house, but you know we're good. We're on our feet. We're able to do a little bit of help here for the firemen. So if everyone comes out of this fire safe and sound, then I'll be a happy camper.
The Taboose, Caples, and Saddle Ridge fires are almost out, but have been burning for at least 20 days.
It is 5:46. The impeachment inquiry into President Trump could take a step forward today. The House will hold the first formal vote to move the investigation into open hearings. House Democrats say they're confident they will achieve the near unity and formalize the next steps in the impeachment process. A national security advisor scheduled to testify in the impeachment inquiry has announced he is stepping down. A source says that Tim Morrison has been planning to leave for some time now, but it's unclear when his last day will be. Morrison was brought in by President Trump's former national security advisor John Bolton, who was fired last month. Morrison is currently the top Russia and Europe advisor on President Trump's Security Council. He's scheduled to testify behind closed doors later today.
Twitter says it is now banning all political advertising ahead of the 2020 presidential election. The announcement comes amid increasing scrutiny of how social media is handling the advertising. Other companies like Facebook have been criticized for letting politicians run fake ads. Earlier this month, former Vice President Joe Biden's presidential campaign wrote to Twitter about the problems. They asked them to stop running an ad that falsely accused Biden of corruption over his role in Ukraine policy during the Obama administration. The new policy will start November 22nd.
Well, Juul is facing a new lawsuit for shipping contaminated e-cigarette pods. A former executive with the vape company says they shipped out 1 million of the contaminated pods and refused to issue a recall or a safety warning. The ex-executive also says that Juul wanted to sell expired cartridges. He says he was fired for raising the alarm on the safety issue. Juul called the claims, quote, baseless, and said the employee was terminated for not meeting leadership expectations. The lawsuit comes as vaping continues to raise concerns all across the country. The CDC reports 34 deaths caused by a vaping-related lung disease. Here at 5:48, turning now to our forecast on this Storm Team 6 alert day.
Yeah, this morning we're dealing with some patchy fog across the area. You'll notice that, Lauren, as you make your way into work and as the kids head off to school. And also, it's a very wet morning for us. Storm Team 6 radar very active. A little bit of a break in the rain here right now for at least the Nashville, Columbus, and Shelbyville area. But all this you see off to the west, that's going to be heading in your direction. And there's some pockets of moderate rainfall here near Spencer, back into the Greencastle and Rockville area, in and around the metro area. Light rain in downtown Indianapolis and inside the 465 loop right now. But from Danville to Brownsburg, that heavy rain is moving off towards the east. Anderson, Noblesville, Carmel, you're dealing with some pretty good rainfall, and the same from Delphi to Monticello to Logansport to Kokomo over towards Marion. So it's a wet start for us here this morning, but the back edge of the real steady rainfall is now already in eastern Illinois. So this is going to start to make its way through the area fairly quick this morning. It's probably by 10 o'clock off towards the east and basically coming to an end, at least the steady rainfall at that point in western locations. So we'll get rid of that steady rain, say by 10, 11 o'clock, but only to be replaced by scattered rain and snow showers across the area. Yes, our first taste of some winter weather here in store for us this afternoon and into the evening hours. You'll notice the flakes probably flying across the area pretty good, especially in northern locations where maybe there could be a little coating on grassy areas, but not on the roadways at this point. And then by 11 o'clock, we're starting to ramp down the precipitation. So that's the precipitation for the day today. The wind, that will really start to kick up as we work our way throughout the course of the afternoon hours. By the time we get to 5 o'clock, wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour. As we continue into the evening hours, wind gusts 40 to maybe even 50 miles per hour in some locations. That's why a wind advisory will go into effect from the National Weather Service from 3 o'clock today until midnight tonight. As far as what's going on temperature-wise, 40s overspreading the area. It's warmer now than it will be later on this afternoon. Our temperatures, they will continue to fall throughout the entire drier day today, and most of the afternoon will be spent in the 30s with wind chill values that will be in the 20s. So if the kids are trick-or-treating, we're talking about temperatures near freezing with snow showers, those gusty winds putting wind chill values that will be down into the 20s. Then as you wake up tomorrow morning, could be a few slick spots on the roadways with leftover moisture as our temperature gets down to 26 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We want to take a look right now at some drive times heading in from the west side of town as you're heading eastbound along Interstate 74. You can expect a 7-minute drive from State Road 267 to the I-465 ramps. No problems there. Let's take a look, though, at those wet roads. Todd mentioned the weather could be an issue today, and it may slow you down on your commute. This is I-69 at 106th Street in Fishers. You can see traffic is still getting by just fine through that area, but we'll continue to keep a close eye on things as we get closer to your rush hour.
Walmart is now expanding its grocery pickup service to the alcohol aisles. The retailer announced it will begin offering customers the chance to order wine and beer online and have it ready to pick up in store. It's a new addition to Walmart's current pickup service. When you pick it up, a Walmart worker will bring the items to your car and verify your ID. Walmart has expanded the alcohol service even further in Florida and California, where the drinks can be delivered straight to your home. I don't think I'd ever leave, Lauren.
I know.
Trick-or-treaters will be out for Halloween tonight, but it can be difficult for some kids. After the break, a teacher's idea to help make Halloween a little easier and more enjoyable for one of her students.
Down on the farm.
Halloween can be a tough time for some kids, especially those with special needs. But a Nevada teacher had an idea to help one child really enjoy trick-or-treating this year. Julian Villafuerte has autism and is nonverbal. He is 4 years old and only began speaking some this year, and saying words like trick-or-treat are still difficult. So his teacher came up with an idea to make his Halloween a little easier. She sent a sign for him to wear saying, "Trick-or-treat. I may not speak, but thank you for the yummy sweets."
Seeing that little card brought so much joy to me. It literally, I was like, oh my God. I was like so happy. I thought maybe other parents can use that too.
Oh, he's so cute. Well, Julian will sport the note on his new dog costume tonight. Little Paw Patrol there. Mom says he will also sport some newfound confidence, too.
Oh.
Well, he is lucky since he's out west, Todd, where it's a bit warmer today for trick-or-treating. But here, kids in the Hoosier State, they are not so lucky.
Yeah, not pleasant at all. This morning, we're dealing with rain. We'll get rid of that, only to replace it with wind and some snow showers later on this evening. For those of you that have to take to the roadways here this morning to get to work, it's going to be a wet one, as you can see. The heaviest of the rain is moving through right now. That's the good news. The back edge is off towards the east, so the longer you can wait to start your morning commute, the better off you will be. But I know that's not possible for everybody here. As far as temperatures, 46 degrees with steady rain at 8 a.m. to replace the rain. Some snow showers with temperatures falling into the mid-30s as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. You factor in those gusty winds, it's going to feel like it is in the 20s.
Todd, thank you. A central Indiana school district is the first in the nation to use a new technology. Coming up in the next half hour, how it could help stop an active shooter more quickly.
This is just part of someone's fence. This is the point of impact. Homeowners are getting frustrated with all of the property damage. But why does it keep on happening? That story next on RTV6.